Alright, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I'm speaking to today, I'm seeing that you're going through some type of death process, by which I mean you're going through some type of ending in your life. And this is an ending that's coming about so that it can facilitate some type of spiritual transformation for you. So when we see the death card here, which I have for you in the overall energy of the reading today, we understand that there's some type of spiritual death happening within us so that a new part of us can be born. So it's actually quite a beautiful energy for you today, Sagittarius, but it can be a little bit intense and a little scary, especially if, we're feeling kind of overwhelmed in life in general. So I'm going to dive into this reading in a second, but before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like a personal reading, I do offer them down below in the description box as my email, and you can email me there. If you have emailed me for a personal reading and I haven't responded, please try again. Sometimes it goes to spam and I don't receive everyone's emails, but I definitely try to get back to everyone about that. So thank you to the people who have reached out to me for personal readings. And if you'd like to lend your energy to the channel in such a way that allows me to manifest messages that resonate more for you, you can like and subscribe. And Sagittarius, I'm seeing that this death process that you've been going through is specifically related to some type of important connection in your life. And you may kind of feel intuitively that even if not everything is showing up on the surface in this connection or in this ending, that you're receiving kind of insights about it from your higher self. And your higher self could be telling you it's time for you to take your power back. It's time for you to take control. And if there's a part of you that's been stressed about how to act in this situation, I see that your higher self is going to guide you through that. And you could be realizing that what needs to end here is this connection itself, and that ending is going to come one way or another. Now, for some of you, this could have something to do with your home, so this could be someone you share a home with. For others of you, this is just someone you have a relationship with, you have some type of foundation with them. And it could also feel a little bit difficult to move on from this person because this could be someone that you love very much or that you have a lot of love for. But I am seeing here that leaving this behind and allowing this death process to finish out is going to align you more with your own sense of happiness within who you are as an individual, and that it may allow you to leave behind the past and move towards soul connections that resonate more with the frequency that you're occupying. Now, I'm also getting a download that whoever I'm reading for today might be going through a lot of changes in who they are very suddenly. So you may be realizing that you're not the same as you were a couple days ago or last week, that your interests have changed, that your values have changed. And with that, any relationship that doesn't align with you is going to start to leave your life. And so even if you're not seeing anyone leaving your life or you're not seeing any changes to your relationships, your higher self may be trying to show you the truth about what's going on in some of your relationships, and that you need to be in relationships where you feel cared for, prioritized, and where you feel empowered. In the recent past, you may have kind of struggled with whatever went on here, and over time you may have realized more and more about whatever this connection was. In the current energy, I see you considering how to move forward and really wanting to move forward in a way that feels aligned with who you are, that feels like it's exciting, it's open, it's fun. You're looking for what's going to make you happiest. And I see you kind of being like, okay, if I have to leave this behind, if I have to let this death process happen, especially for those of you who might be moving out of a home or who recently moved out of a home or left a job or something like that, you're like, I don't want this to be for nothing. I want to move on to better horizons. So I really see you considering what would it look like for me to step into my power and to truly be happy in my life. And I see that as you start to consider that, you may realize there are several foundations that need to come down in your life, but that ultimately it's going to be for the greater good. It's going to bring in a certain level of balance that you can understand logically, even if it doesn't always feel great. You're going to start to see, okay, yes, I made the right choices here. Okay, so I'm seeing the backstory of what happens here, and there may have been something that made you feel really anxious about an energy that you were around that it felt like you had to compete with, or maybe they were competing with you. And many of you may have not even wanted to compete with this other person, but I'm seeing something about masculine energies coming out and that creating conflict. And you don't have to be a man to occupy masculine energy. What that really means is that we all have masculine and feminine energies inside of us, and something here kind of triggered your masculine energy or the more assertive, confrontational side of yourself. And there's something here that could have happened in connection to someone else that really stressed you out and may have made you feel really reactive or really out of control in some way. And it may have led you to kind of reconsider the nature of this relationship and if it's something that really makes you feel harmonized. Now, for a while, I see that you wanted to work on this, you wanted to find balance, and you may have even been waiting for an opening from this other person to allow you in a little bit or to soften up. And I see you kind of being like, as soon as this person will soften up, I'll go and make nice with them. Maybe we can repair this. However, I'm seeing that over time, it looks like you realized any softness that I was going to receive from this person is over. You may have felt betrayed in some way or just kind of left hanging, or you could have just felt like, I want to work on this and I want to open my heart to this person, but they seem really closed off to me. And that could be really painful for you, and it could have changed how you relate to this connection because it's something that looks very close to your heart, and it looks like this could be a soul connection for many of you. It doesn't have to be romantic, but just someone that was important to you. And there's a feeling of, I wish that this person would open up to me or be soft with me, but if I'm being realistic and I'm looking over what's occurred here, it's looking like that's not really possible. And so I'm seeing that even though you would like to connect with this person, it's like you're going to have to kind of leave it behind, and you're starting to really become honest with yourself about that. Your oracle cards today are the Lovers, the Intensity card, and Patience. So there's something about this connection, again, that speaks to your soul here and is very resonant for you, but it may have gotten really fiery at some point. Things may have gotten very heated, very intense, and so now there's sort of this cooling off period with the Patience card that asks you to be patient and allow time to pass to kind of cool things down here. So in your current energy, I see you trying to refocus on yourself and consider, what is it that's going to make me happy? What direction do I need to move in? And you are coming up with this masculine energy today, and so that's an energy of forward movement, of really wanting to move forward from a place of confidence, from a place of empowerment. And so you may be feeling very fiery, Sagittarius, which makes sense. I do see you trying to heal at least within yourself, even if you can't heal with this other person, and starting to move through your own emotions of disappointment, maybe recognizing where you're being caught in your head a little bit, and starting to balance out and level out some of those emotions within yourself, even though it's a bit difficult. And as you have patience with yourself, as you become gentle with yourself, I do see that process becoming easier and your confidence starts to become restored. You may have a certain attachment to this connection, especially if it is a commitment in your life or it's attached to a commitment in your life. Like, say this is a roommate and you feel really tied to your house and really tied to your connection with them, or say maybe you co-parent with this person and you're separating. But there's something here where you may feel like you have an obligation to this person, and you may be starting to realize that that's not necessarily true because they're not acting like they're really obligated to you, or it's not being reciprocated or something. It comes through as almost this realization of, I need to be honest with myself about what I'm committing myself to. And there may be this feeling of wanting to avoid certain commitments if they don't feel good. But I'm seeing that more as the other energy, and you as kind of just reckoning with yourself about, why do I feel obligated to this person who doesn't quite show up for me? It's like you're seeing the truth here, and things were kind of hidden. And especially within this connection with this other person, you may have only seen one side of them, and now you're seeing the truth kind of in this situation. You're showing me that you're moving towards the end of this connection, but it comes through as a relief. It's kind of like, I need some space from this. And even just thinking about taking space from this connection like makes you happy or something like that. And I see you kind of feeling relieved and just being like, you know what, it's just time to close this out. Doesn't mean I hate the person. It doesn't mean we're on bad terms. It actually comes through with the sun, which is the happiest card in the deck, which is just realizing the truth of this situation is just that it needs to be closed out. And that's a very mature place to be in, Sagittarius, because it shows that you're not really trying to force anything. You know, you're not trying to force things into place. You're not trying to force a connection that's not working. You're just saying the truth is it's time for this to come to a close. And so I do see a tower moment happening. I see a foundation falling so that something else can take its place. And it's like you're being very firm here and you're insisting on balance. And it's like almost as soon as this foundation falls down, you start to rebuild something that feels a lot stronger, because it's almost like this foundation had to fall so that things could be balanced. You could be speaking your truth. There could be things about this connection or about this environment that made you feel like you couldn't move freely, like you couldn't be your full self, or you couldn't step into your masculine energy. There could have been parts of you that were stifled, and then you are kind of taking the initiative to speak your truth, to talk about what it was that made you feel trapped or that made you feel anxious or kind of stuck inside of yourself. And as you do that, you know, not only do you start to free yourself, but the foundations that relied on you keeping yourself small start to come down as you take up space, which is really positive, because especially if you were walking on eggshells or you were people pleasing, that behavior starts to fall, and so do the structures that came with it. And it's actually a tower moment that's been coming for a long time, and it's been kind of waiting. It's almost like the people around you or the universe have been waiting for you to speak your truth, and you've been waiting to speak your truth. And you were, you know, kind of inching closer and closer to this moment of, here's what's really on my heart, here's how I really feel. And the more you hid it, the more you hid your truth and the more you hid yourself. And so you may have been for a long time avoiding this tower falling down without even realizing it, by keeping yourself small, by keeping your truth inside. And it's like all of a sudden the truth comes out and the tower falls. But it's a positive tower, and it brings about justice and balance almost immediately for you, because now the truth is out. You may be really concerned about leaving this behind. Many of you may be actually physically moving or leaving something tangible behind. So leaving behind a job, leaving behind a friend group, leaving behind a home, whatever it is. And this could be causing you a lot of stress, but I'm seeing that it's actually for the best, and you're in the pursuit of the truth, which is a very noble thing and very typical for Sagittarius. Sagittarius, we really honor the truth, and the truth is very important to us. Being honest is important to us, and not just being honest like on the day-to-day level, but being honest from a soul level, being honest spiritually about what's important to us. How do we really feel? What's our truest experience in the world? And staying true to ourselves. And so as you start to become true to yourself in a new way, it could be terrifying, but it's also extremely freeing. And so I see you seeing this death process and being very overwhelmed by it and being nervous for it, but ultimately this is the best possible choice that you could make, and ultimately it's the only choice that you could make. Like, this is going to come about eventually, because in this commitment or in this relationship, there are parts of yourself that you were avoiding or that you were denying in order to maintain a connection, and it's like at some point the truth has to come out. I see you recognizing that this ending is not just for the best, but that it's going to open up the door for more opportunities. I don't think you know exactly how big these opportunities are going to be, and I see you trying to like plan and be like, okay, like what's my next step? And that's kind of where you are in the near future, is recognizing the ending, being fully honest with yourself and your surroundings that this ending is upon you, and then being like, okay, where do I want to go from here, and planning that out. There's something here about aligning your inside and your outside, your feminine and your masculine, your moon and your sun. And as you align those parts of yourselves, things start to shift in your life where a lot of things that were out of balance start to come into balance, and not just things within you but things around you, things affected by you, even things that are far away from you but that your energy has a sort of pull on. It all starts to become aligned, and it massively shifts the energy here for you. You may not even be aware of how large of a moment this is for you, but it's a lot of spiritual change, and it's going to really radically shift the course of your life for the better. The advice from the universe is don't be afraid of the end that you know is happening and the ending that you know needs to happen. Let the ending happen in your relationships, in your environment, whatever those endings are, just let them happen, and move through the feeling of it all, and have patience with the intensity of this moment and this choice and this experience, because it will pass, and it's just going to take some time and some balancing. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helps. I hope that this resonates, and I'll see you next time.